Good evening, San Diego. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis, and thank you for tuning in for your CBS 8 Plus weather update. And while your weather update for this week ahead is kind of a boring one, I kind of like it that way, especially when you're talking about the beautiful start that we had to this week. Now, we had the marine layer this morning, and then we saw that afternoon sunshine. Now, we're also seeing a mix of sun and clouds out there as that marine layer is also starting to make its way back on shore. So with the marine layer back in our forecast tonight through tomorrow morning, you're looking at the potential for some patchy drizzle. Just can't entirely be ruled out. And that more favorable closer towards the coast. And so that is going to be in our forecast as we go into tonight through tomorrow morning. Then we get right back to that afternoon sunshine. Throughout much of the week, our temperatures are actually going to be below seasonal for this time of the year. So about 5 degrees below seasonal for the coast. You're talking more of a gap for the inland valleys, about 10 to 15 degrees above seasonal, or excuse me, below seasonal for this time of the year. And then also looking at that range about 5 to 10 degrees below seasonal, even for the mountains as well as for the desert. So pretty quiet overall, all because of an area of low pressure that's right over the west. So surging in some of that cooler air, changing up our air mass. Then we have a ridge of high pressure that's really going to change up our air mass by the start of next week. So it starts on Sunday and then lasting through the first half of next week. We're looking at a warm up, that big heat dome that is impacting across the southern states, making heat advisories go out across those states like Mississippi, Alabama, also the entire state of Louisiana because of the heat index. It's going to feel like 110. Well, that heat and humidity is blanketing them right now, but that heat is going to make its way back towards us. And that is because of that area of high pressure, the heat dome you're going to hear about this week, making its way back towards the west. So that leads to more of a warm up for us. When you look at those overnight lows, so widespread with those 60s as well as 50s. You have the 50s across the mountains. You have 60s right there along the coast. 66 degrees for downtown as an overnight low. And well, the chilliest spot that we're seeing for those overnight lows is Campo tomorrow, 48 degrees to start off the day. Then we get to a daytime high in Campo, big swing with temperatures, 83 degrees looks to be the high. And you're looking at 70s as well as 80s across the inland valleys. As mentioned, that's where the biggest gap is expected when it comes to below seasonal temperatures. And that's because the average high for this time of the year is about 89 degrees, but we're looking at 79 degrees. That's going to be for La Mesa tomorrow. The same for Escondido. You also have that for Alpine, as well as some low 80s for Valley Center and for Ramona. Still locked into triple digit heat. That's for the desert, but the average high for this time of the year is around 108. So 102, still pretty toasty out there for the desert. That's going to be the high for tomorrow, and 72 degrees for downtown. Your surf forecast about 2 to 3 feet. Low risk of rip currents at our local beaches as well. This will take us all the way into the middle of the week. When we look at that area of low pressure, so what we call the parent low, that core low, that's going to be over the Pacific Northwest. That's also where we've seen some scattered showers for today. But it's created a dip in the jet stream, and so that's why you're seeing changes happening to our air mass. And that's with the low getting a little bit closer. It even gets cut off from the jet stream. That's what we call a cutoff low. And as a result, it's going to just do its own thing. It's going to hang out just towards the northwest of us, and so that changes the air mass over us. Mild conditions expected for much of this week. Those temperatures, as mentioned, running below seasonal for this time of the year. Then we focus on this area of high pressure. It's going to be sitting just towards the east of us by Thursday, but it will expand over the weekend, and that's when that air mass starts to change a little bit more. So with that expanding ridge, that brings in more heat, especially for the mountains as well as for the desert, because it's coming in from the east. So they're going to feel the impacts first before it becomes more widespread across the county. When you look at the next 7 days for the coast and the inland valleys, you have the coast with those low 70s all the way into next week. Just majority of our temperatures, we bump up a little bit to the mid 70s. That's close to seasonal by Thursday. You have the low 80s tomorrow for the inland valleys. A little bit of a bump up in temperatures. That's going to be on Thursday. You're looking at 86 degrees, and then those temperatures come right back down again as we go into the weekend with those low 80s, and still talking about being below seasonal for this time of the year. You have 70s across the mountains for tomorrow. 80s return by Wednesday, lasting through Friday. A little bit of a slip in temperatures by Saturday at 79 degrees. And then look, that ridge of high pressure brings back the 90s. That is by Monday of next week across the mountains. You have low 100s favoring the desert. Then you get back to 99 degrees, and that's going to be on Saturday before you get back to something a little bit more seasonal, and that's at 109 degrees by Monday of next week. I hope you enjoy the quiet weather pattern we're going to experience for this week, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a good one.